Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how to use the web version of ATLAS.ti. When you go to ATLAS.ti website, which is atlas.ti.com, you click on My ATLAS.ti. If you have bought ATLAS.ti, you may have the web version to click on. So when you go to your account, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see the ATLAS.ti 25 Windows, ATLAS.ti 25 Mac, and then here open ATLAS.ti Web. This is what you're going to do. So if you want to analyze your qualitative data on the web, right, using ATLAS.ti platform, then you can click on the third tab here. So we're going to go there and I'm going to show you step by step how to use that version to analyze your qualitative data. So when you click on it, this is what you're going to see, right? I have a lot of projects I've created. If you haven't created anything, this information will be here for you to click on. It's demo interview project. But if you want to start a new project, this is what you're going to do. You just have to click on add project. So you click on add project and you can click on create project. If you have a project on your desktop and you want to import that, you'll be able to click on this one and import. But for now, what we are focusing on is to create a project directly on the web. One advantage of doing it on the web is that you can access your information or your data anywhere if you have access to the internet, right? And you go to their website, you can do that, right? So, maybe you don't have your computer with you, or you have the computer that doesn't have your actual data. Using the web would be the best, right? You have everything in the cloud, and then you can analyze the. So when you click on create new project, this is what you're going to see. And then the data that we're going to use is about burnout. So let me show you data that we're going to use today. So this is the data that we're going to use. It's about the causes and solutions of burnout among primary healthcare physicians. We have two research questions, and these are the participants. We have 5 participants and their demographics. And this is the data set that we're going to use. We have 5 participants, P1 to P5, and then we have also their demographics that we're going to also enter into the system, right? Now that we know the data we're going to use, we can give it a name, right? You can say you can give it any name that you remember. So I'm gonna say burnout, maybe burnout project new, because I have a lot of burnout project here. So I just want to make this one new, burnout project new, right? And then you can give a description, but it's not required. Providing a description will help, especially if you have similar names and you want to, or you have a lot of projects and you don't want to quickly get the project that you want. It makes sense to give a little brief information, right? But it's not required. So I'll go ahead and click on New Project. So when you come here, the first thing that you have to think about is where are your documents? How do you upload the document? It's very simple. You see here, you can click on add to bring document, or you can go here, add document. You click on that. If it's Word document, you choose the first option. If it's PDF, you choose the second option. If it's CSV, Excel spreadsheet, you can choose the last one, right? You can also create a project here. You click on create and you have a space for you to type or cut and paste, or you can create your own document. So now we have the transcript, which is in Word document. So we choose the first option, we click on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop. So I select all of the 5 transcripts and drop them here. So when I drop them here and I close it, I already have all of them here, right? So I have all my 5 transcripts. If I want to open, I want to open a P1. So you click on open here and then you open and you can start the coding process, right? So that's how you can upload. But before we do the coding process, the next thing that you could do is to bring demographic. It's not required for you to bring demographic here, especially if you are not planning to compare and contrast groups. But if you have the demographic and you want to bring it here, yes, it's possible. So you see here, manage groups, right? This is where you're going to create groups based on the demographics, and then you can connect participants to the groups that they belong. So you click on the plus sign here, manage groups, and it's asking you about the demographics, right? So what is the first group? So we have to go back to the table here, right? We already have everything here. So we're going to create age and then indicate the groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups concerning age. For gender, we have 2 groups, the male and female. For years of experience, I think we have 5 groups. And then the ethnicity, we have 3 groups, right? So we're going to create all these groups there and connect the participant or the document or the transcript to that group. So let's start with age. So normally you start with the name of the variable, which is the age, right? So you put the age here, you bring column, and then the first group is 37, right? 37. And then when you are done, you click on done. But to make things easy, you click on the plus sign and create a second group. Second group about age is 55. I click on the plus. I put the age there again and column, and I put 70. I click on plus. I put age again. I click on column and I put 33. I click on plus. I click on plus and go to age again. And then I put 65, right? I click on plus. Now we're going to go to the next variable, which is gender. So I copy the gender here, put the gender here, and column male plus gender column female plus, and the next one is years of experience. I'll copy that, put the years of experience here. It's 12 years plus, next is 25 plus, I put here column 35 and plus, next one is put here 2 plus, next one will be 30 plus. Now we go to the last variable, which is the ethnicity. We bring the variable here, copy, put it here, and then I put an American. I copy that, I put it here, plus sign, copy ethnicity, put it here, and then this time I'm going to put Caucasian, copy that, and then I'm going to put a group with this name already exists. I don't see that, so I will ignore this. So I go to the next one, which is Asian American, right? And then click on plus. When you are done, you click on done. So you see here that when you go to under groups, you click on it, you get a lot of options. This is where you are now going to connect participants to their respective groups, right? So how do you do that? You click on this one, it gives you other options. So the age, the participant P5 is 65. I check this one, you see, switch that one on. And then gender is female. So I click on female, and the years of experience of participant 5 is 30. And the last one is Asian American. So when you're done, you click outside, right? So now you see that it has all the information. You're going to do the same thing to this participant 1. We click here, and participant 1 is 37. So we put it here, go to female, and the years of experience is 12. And then the next one is ethnicity, which is African American. And when you are done, you click outside. So we do the same thing for participant 2, who is 55 and a male, And years of experience is 35 years. And the participant is Caucasian, and they click outside. Let's go to the next participant. You click this area, you go to, this is participant 2, it's 55, it's a male, and years of experience for participant 2 is 25 years, and participant 2 is Caucasian, and then we click outside. The last one, you click on that, and then this is participant 3, 70 years, 35 years of experience, is a male, and he is Caucasian. And then click on outside. So you see how I've been able to group them. So first I created groups for them, and then I connected them to the various groups. Now we are done. The next one is the coding process. How do you do the coding? You see this place Code Manager, right? When you click on that, it will show you all the code. If you are doing content analysis, right, you can create codes and here and then start the coding process, right? If you already have the existing code. But we are doing thematic analysis, but you still have to create containers for your research question. So you go to Code Manager, and this is what you're going to see. We're going to create containers for our research question. So our research question 1 is the causes of burnout. So we can click here and give it a name. What name do you want to give? First, you have to put the research question in parentheses, RQ1, and then you say burnout causes, right? Burnout causes, right? And then you can do the comment one, you can provide the research questions. I'm going to copy the research question and paste it here, right? For the research question 1. And then when you finish, you click on create new code, right? So now that you finish creating a new code, the next step is to create another code for your research question 2. So new code here, and this time RQ2, right? And then this one is about burnout solutions. So burnout solutions. And then you copy and paste the research question there. So you're gonna type 2 here. That's your research question 2, and you click on create new code. So now you have containers for research question 1 and research question 2, right? Why do you have to have these containers? Because when you are creating code, you are making sure that you are creating code that are addressing the research question, and then you connect those codes to their respective research question. That's why you have to create containers for the research question. When you are done, you start the coding process. Where do you want to go? You click on Document Manager, right? You click on that and all the document will be here. Here, you see that the document is not arranged properly, right? If you want to arrange it ascending or descending order, you can go here, the 3 dots after the name, and then I can make it maybe ascending order, right? Or descending order, depending on how you want it. So you can arrange it based on the way that you want, right? So you click on open here, and then now you can start the coding process, right? What you're doing is that you are going through the transcript, identify information that is significant. What information is significant? Any information that can address any of the research questions that you have. If it's not addressing a research question, you can choose to ignore that information, right? So when you go through, let's say we have identified this information as significant, long hours, then you select that, right? When you select, if there's any existing code that you have created, you can look for it. But we don't have any existing code yet. We only have codes for representing the research question. So you'd select and decide what name do you want to give to this information. So this one is, you can say it's having long hours, right? So when you click on it, you see that the system has suggested a code for you, long hours. You can choose it if it fits what you want, but if it doesn't fit, you create your own. So having long hours will be the best, right? Addressing that. So you decide the label now is having long hours. I put the long hours in quotation marks is because it's participant always. You don't have to bring quotation marks. Here, you can also provide the definition, what the code represents. It's not required, but if you want to do that, you can define it, right? So let's see. You can define it when you are done. You can click on, you see, switch this one on to show that you are coded, right? And that's all. And then you click here, quote, and then you are done. So you see here that when you click on this one, you have that research question, right? Here you have the code representing this information, right? When at this time, we may not be able to connect this information to your research question. We can do that later. But your role here is to select all the information that are addressing the research question, and then we move to the next stage where you group all the codes into their respective research question. Or you can do both at the same time. If you want to do it at the same time as you're going so that you not be confused after coding, the next step that you can do is to go back to Code Manager. Here, the Code Manager, you can drag and drop the code you just developed under research question 1. When you drop it, it will ask you to confirm, do you want to make this code a subcode? If yes, click on that. And then now this information is under research question 1. When we go back to the document that you were analyzing, you can see here that now is connected to research question 1, right? So you have two options here. You can go through and develop all the codes, and then you can go back to code management and drag and drop the code under their respective research question. Or you can do the process simultaneously where you go to the code here, you go to the document, and let's say this one is significant, right? Having numerous clinical and administrative tasks, right? This is significant. You select that, and then you decide what label should I give. You can give a label of having numerous work-related tasks, right? Representing this statement. Then you click on the plus sign right here, right? And then you click on quote, right? And you see here that when you click on that, it's selecting this information. Now, what you want to do is that you can go back to Code Manager, and then you can drag and drop this one under the research question 1 and click on Make Subcode. And then that information is now under research question 1. I like this process because it will not take you a long time because we already know the code. It's easy for you to know what it belongs, right? So instead of you going through the transcript and then identifying codes and coming back here and grouping them under their respective question, it's easy for you to do the process spontaneously. You select the information that is significant, and then you go back to, you code that information, you go back to Code Manager, and then drag and drop that code under their respective research question. So imagine you are going through a finance banner solution, say, stating taking family vacation, right? So I think they said something about taking family vacation around this place. So you can select that information, and then you can put a label there, which is the code representing that statement, and then click on the plus sign, and then click on quote. Then you can go back to Code Manager, and then you can drag and drop that statement under the research question 2. So you click here, drag and drop, and mix up code. And then this is what you get, right? Now, you're going to do the same process until you finish coding the first transcript. You go through, identify information that is significant, and develop a code. If you see anything that you can use the original or you can use other codes that you have already created, you can do that, right? So let's imagine, we are just imagining, let's imagine that this is also about having long hours, right? You just imagine that this is also about having long hours. We already created code for that long hours, so you can search for that. Well, when you click here, it will show you the code that you have created, right? So you choose the one that is talk about having long hours. So I choose this one, right? And then I click on code. So now when you use existing code to code information here, you don't have to go back to Code Manager to drag and drop the code because it has already been connected to the research question 1, right? So you don't have to do that. You only do that when you are creating a new code. So the strategy here is that when you identify information that is significant, you create a code, or if there's an existing code that can be used, you use the existing code to connect to the significant information. When you are done with your first transcript, you go back here, Document Manager, and then you go to the second transcript. You do the same process, right? If this one is significant, let's say participants talk about taking care of multiple patients. Okay, so multiple patients, you select that, right? And then you put the code here, right? And then click on the plus sign and then click on code. And this, you have to go back to Code Manager and then drag and drop this one to their respective code. So you drag and drop it into the burnout courses, right? And then you click on make subcode, and then you have that information here. So that's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna do the same thing for all the information that you have, right? So let me show you how the final product will look like. Let me go back to, if you wanna go back to all projects, you can click on this one, and let me show you how the final project is gonna look like. So you can see here that everything has been coded. You have 6 code connected to the participant 1 and 7 quotations. And if you want to see all the codes, you go to Code Manager and you see that when you click on this arrow for research question 1, I have all my codes and these are the quotations, right? If you want to know detail about the code, you click on details and it gives you all the information about the quotations and also the source, right? So you can see that this one is from P4 and this is a quotation, and this one is from P5. So this is how you're going to do. You're going to go through the data, identify information that is significant, and develop codes. And this is what you're going to see. Now, if you decide, sometimes, let me see, Open Manager. So if you want to close it, you click on this arrow, right? So if you want to create a new code, like a code that will focus on, let's say, any other information that is not addressing a research question, but you think is important, you can create a new code by clicking here, new code, and the type other findings. If you want to code things that are not addressing the research question, but you think is important, and you click on new code, right? You always can create a code and go back and then create codes and drag and drop them into their respective containers that you have, right? So we imagine that we finish all the coding, right? The next step is to categorize the code. How do you do that? You see this place? You see this place? It said groups, right? So when you go to Code Manager, this is what you're gonna see. You see the name of all the codes here and the groups, what they belong. So we're going to categorize each of the codes under the group, right? So how do you do that? You can just, first you have to decide the themes that you want to use, right? If you want to know how to do the themes, what I do is that first I export. I think if you look at my previous videos about ATLAS.ti, I export all the codes outside. I export all the codes and then start the coding, categorizing the code to develop themes and bring the themes back again. So what I do is in order to export that, you can go click on this icon here and you can export as an Excel spreadsheet, right? And then you can easily get it when you export. So this is what you're going to see. You have all the codes for the research question 1 and 2, right? And then, so research question 1 and 2, research question 1 here. This is the first code, second code for research question 1. And then when you go here, you see all the research question 2, right? And the other finding, which I did not put any information here. So what you're going to do is that you're going to categorize all the codes to develop things. So something similar to, because of time, I cannot go through this process, but if you look at my previous videos about categorization, you'll be able to go through information, you'll be able to understand the process well. But what I do is I create a table like this. I divided them into maybe 4 to 5 clusters and then group the codes. So you can see that I've grouped all the codes. Don't worry about the numbers here. It's not important now. But when I group them, then I label them. These labels will be the themes addressing the research question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the themes back to ATLAS.ti. And if you want to know the detailed process, I have a video about that. I'll put it on top here so that you can click on it and watch that video. So I have all my themes here for research question 1, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to ATLAS.ti and then I generate all the themes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the plus sign here and the research question 1 here, manage group. I click on the plus sign and then I copy the first theme, which is having long workload. In parentheses, I will say I'll kill 1 because it's a theme for research question 1. I type theme to remind me that it's a theme. I put column here and bring the name of the theme. When you are done, you click on plus sign, and then you bring the second theme, right? The second theme is being new to the profession. I indicate that it's for research question 1, and it's a theme. I put a column here and bring that, and I click on plus sign. I do the same thing, research question 1, theme. And then this time I copy this next theme as a third theme. I bring it here and click on a plus sign. I do the same thing here. I'll kill 1. I bring the last theme here, copy that. I type theme and bring it here, right? So I click on the plus sign, and then when you are done, you click on done. So you can see that all of the themes will be here, right? And then what you're gonna do is that you can go to each of them, right? I click on this theme and then connect it. Which one is this one connected? Being a young physician. Being a young physician belongs to being new to the profession, this one, right? So I indicate that. So I go to the next one, click outside and go to the next one. Feeling inadequate is also belongs to this theme. I click on the next one. That's what you're gonna do. You are connecting the code to the respective theme, right? Having long hours is having high workload. So this one, I click on that. So that's what you're gonna do. You're going to do it for all of the codes under research question 1. And you're gonna do the same thing for research question 2. When you go to research question 2, you can click here too and go to manage groups, right? And you're going to add the theme for research question 2, right? After you have developed the theme for research question 2, here you're going to see RQ2 and then theme and bring that column here and look for the name for the first theme. I copy it and bring it here. So you're going to do it for all of that for the theme, you plus sign. You bring all the themes here, and then after that, you click on done, and then you can go through them and then click on here and decide which of the theme they belong. When you finish, this is what you're going to see. Let me show you the final product so that you can see. Let me go here and go to Code Manager and click on the arrow here. You see that all the code have been linked to the respective team here. And when you go to this place too, all of them have been linked to their respective team. Right. So that's how you're going to do it. Right. If you have any question, you can put it in the comment section there. I'll be happy to address them for you. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that I'll be able to bring you rich videos and content that will be helpful for your research. If you finish, you can export it if you want to. If you go to Quotation Manager here, right, you see all the quotations, right? And then you see a bar chart here indicating the research question and all the codes and how the codes were applied. So this one, you see that this code was applied 2 times to, so this code has 2 quotations, this code has 3 quotations, this code has 1 quotation, and these are all the quotations, right? So you'll be able to get a list of all the quotations. I think you can also download if you want to. Let's download it. This is what you're going to see, P1 to P5 and all the quotations and also the codes that are linked to that quotation. So you can also easily get access to this information. So let's go back to, so you can also, click here and write a memo that if you want to, click here to write your memo and give it a title and then start writing and it will be saved here. And then we go to views. This is where if you want to do any visual representation like bar chart, any other visual representation, it's a good place to do it, right? So you click on new view, and let's say I want to explore concept to create a word cloud. What are the concepts that we're frequently use? You can click on concept here, and then you can choose the codes that you want the system to explore, right? So I'm choosing the codes that I want. So I'm choosing all the codes for research question 1, right? And then I click on apply and then to be able to generate visual representation, which is a word cloud. So this is what you see. So this is where cloud is based on all the significant information connected to the code, right? These are words from participant quotation. So you can see here that tax is big. They talk about tax a lot and also talk about patient and answer and work. You can uncheck, right? And then apply, and it will be gone. If you want to run a word cloud based on the document, you can do that. So let me first uncheck everything here so that will not be added to that. And click on apply and go to the document and check the document. You can create a word cloud here too and click on apply. And you can also do it based on groups too, right? You can do it based on the group that you have. So you have a lot of options and you can click on clear, right? And then you can start and you select what you want. So you can select maybe the age groups that you want, or maybe only the African Americans and click on apply. And then let's see, you can save it. There's no way to export. So what you may have to do, you have to screenshot. If you want to use it, you can just screenshot that. I don't see any export here. So if you want to use the concept, this is what you're going to do. Let's go back So you want to leave this place. If you want to do a new view, click on that. And this time you want to look into maybe code documents, right? You want to know the connection between participant and also the codes that you have created, right? So what I want to do is I want to focus more on the code groups, right? So let's select some of the themes. Let me select all the themes for research question one and click on apply. And then let me go to documents and select all the documents. I want to see who the teams are linked to. So you can see here that the first team is linked to participant 4 and 5, right? And there are two statements that was extracted from participant 4, two statements that was extracted from participant 5. Here, the second team, 4 statements were extracted from participant 2. If when you click on it, you'll be able to see all the quotations here, right? You can create a chart. You have a lot of options here. You can also create a Sankey chart here. It shows you who is linked to what. So you can see that participant 2 is linked to this theme. So you see there are 4 quotations, so that's why it's wider here. And here, so you have a lot of options. You can go here. You can make it horizontal. You can make it vertical. So let's go back to the table. So one thing I like is that when you click on this one, you can see the quotations. You click on the numbers, right? You can see all the quotations there. So if you want to see only that quotation, you click on it. If you want to see in addition to other quotation, you click on that. You have to unclick to remove that quotations under here, right? And you can save it. If you are done, you can save it or you can export, right? You can always export in an Excel spreadsheet, right? And then, so that's what I have for this one. You have a lot of options to explore. So let's go back here. Let's leave this place. So we done views. We can go to conversational AI, right? So the conversational AI is where you click on it, and if you want to have a conversation with any of the data that you have, you can choose that in any documents. So let's say I want to have a conversation with these 2 documents. I check that and then click on start, and then you'll be able to have conversation. Maybe what are the themes that comes from this document, and the system will provide you that information. So you are going to interact with your document with the help of AI, right? So they are just cautioning you that the AI can give you inaccurate information or misleading. So you have to be aware about that. So just want to see how the system is going to respond. So I'm asking what are the main themes here based on P1 and P2. I did not provide any research question. I just want to see how it will respond. So it has given me some of the themes. So you can see that burnout and stress, work-life balance, and provide you definitions of the theme that is provided and also giving you the link where you're going to get that information. That's very good. So you can easily interact with the system if your document using AI and you can get some rich information from that. Another option there, let me click here to close it, is when you go back to your document. So let's click on document. So let's try to select all of the documents, right? And you see here there are tools here. So you can have a conversation with the system or you can use AI coding plus intentional. So this is where if you don't want to code by yourself, you can use AI to code. So you can click on AI coding plus intentional. You proceed if you are okay with the agreement and privacy issues. And then you go here, you click on, let me go back again. I was too fast. Let me cancel. So I choose AI coding and then I click on proceed after you review the agreement. And then here, the good thing about intentional coding is that before the system go through your transcript, you have an option to provide it with your research question, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide my research question and the purpose of the study. so that the system will know what exactly I'm looking for, and the system will generate codes based on that. So let me copy and paste my research question here, right? And I click on next. So I have my purpose of study and two research question. I click on next. After going through, the system will suggest questions for you based on what you have provided. Now it's just confirming that I want to focus on the causes of burnout and also the solution of burnout. And it's giving the labels for me. Here, you just leave it at all a label for your research question. You can add more research questions if you want. Sometimes to give you suggest other questions for you. If you don't want to, you can click it off. So let's assume that I don't want this one. I can just turn it off, right? I want all of the two questions. So I go ahead and click on next, and then the system starts processing. So now it has given you all the codes that it has generated. This is a chance for you to review and make sure that are truly representing significant information and addressing the research question that you have. It has suggested 45 codes. It's a lot of codes you have to go through. If you don't want to, you shut it down, right? So maybe I don't want this one, maybe I don't want that one, right? You always have an option to shut them down if you don't want it. So you can see it has created codes for us. You have to go through, make sure that everything is right. If you are okay with what it has provided for you, you click on Apply AI Coding. So when you do that, it will be added to all the codes. When you go to the code manager, you see causes of burnout here, right? You have all of them here. You can review, you can look into detail about that. You can also make some changes to the name if you want to. When you double click on it, you can change the name if you want to change. If you don't want, you can delete it, right? You always have an option to delete or make an adjustment. So this is what it's gonna provide to you, and then you can even go ahead and group them and develop themes based on what you have. So this is what I have for you for now. There's other function that I didn't go through, like paper search. Let's say you are doing a research and you are doing a literature review. You'll be able to search for literature using this search engine here, right? So you can try and let me know whether you want me to do a video about only this part, right? Searching for rich information for you to do your literature review, right? If you want to know more, let me know. I'll do a video about that. So, but this is what I have for you. If you have any question, please put in the comment section. I'll be happy to address them for you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for your time.